Peace, peace. Everybody, can y'all hear us? Can y'all hear us? Let us know in the chat. Let us know if you guys can hear us okay. Let us know, let us know.
Let us know, let us know.
We good? Everybody saying we're good?
I like it, I like it.
Thank you guys for joining us. We good? All right. So if you're watching us right now via Zoom, we appreciate you for joining us.
Yes.
If you're watching us right now via the Facebook group, the private Facebook group, we appreciate you for joining us there as well. Thank you guys for being here with us tonight. This is not a usual night. We usually do a podcast Mondays and Thursdays, but we decided a couple weeks ago that we were going to. You good?
Yeah, I see KG.
Is he in?
I don't know why, yeah.
Bear with us a little bit. All right, yeah, we're just gonna keep going.
Yeah, you know how the first event goes.
Yes. So, like I was saying, so we wanted to start this free training series that, we can help people start their businesses, because a lot of times when we talk about family business, we talk about what we're doing, a lot of people go, yeah, that sounds amazing. All of this stuff y'all talking about, that sounds great, but I don't even know where to start, right?
Right.
And we launched some courses a while ago, like a month ago. And while that, while people are enjoying that, there are some people who felt like, yeah, I don't even know why I would need that stuff. I don't even know why I would need to start a podcast.
Right.
Why I would need to start a YouTube channel, write a book, and things like that. So we wanted to create this platform and show people step by step how we did it and how we can help you as well. And we want to give you a lot of just great value in these trainings as well.
Yes, these trainings will be taking place every Wednesday, 8 p.m. sharp.
Same time.
Absolutely free. It will cost you nothing but your time and your energy. And one thing I want to quickly pose as a question. If you're working on your job and you make $75,000 a year, which is pretty decent salary, but you got to travel, you got to get on a subway, you got to burn gas, you got to bring lunch or eat out, you got to deal with coworkers you hate or that you dislike, you got to deal with 3 and 4 bosses telling you this and that.
Yeah.
Would you leave that to work from home? And if the answer is yes, then this is going to be the right place for you to be. And what I mean by that is, a lot of times you're watching these get free or these lofty get rich quick programs, and that's not what this is about. I try to ask people, if you can make the same money and a little bit more at home doing what you like, would that be enough to get you started? And if the answer is yes, then you're in the right place. Mm-hmm. A lot of times, like I said, you see these courses, be a millionaire, do this and that. That's lofty stuff. If you can make 75, then you can make 100. So we want to begin the process of putting this ball and this train on the track for you so that you can be in that mix, because I saw the news today.
Yes.
And 4.5 more million people left their jobs.
Yes, just last month.
Just last month. It's 11 million jobs opening. And what that's telling me, if you're reading the room correctly, is that more people are going home.
Yeah.
And more people are twiddling their thumbs at home saying, damn, well, what can I do?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be a multimillionaire. That may be the grand plan.
Right.
But if I can make what I make to pay my bills staying at home, what can I do to do that?
Right.
So welcome, and this is going to be the training that gets you started. We conducted a 25-point checklist. Now, there are other points to be made. We'll add some bonus points to the checklist, but this 25 is enough to get you started.
Oh, my bad.
And today, we're going to deal with the first 5. But before we do, we need to do a little bit of housekeeping and take you through an overview of things.
Yes. So first, we want to make it abundantly clear, like, this is not an UrbanX podcast.
Right.
Okay. So people, I totally appreciate you guys who appreciate what we do, and you guys, love our podcast and stuff like that. But this is not the platform for it. So if you have any comments of breaking news and stuff would happen, we're not going to talk about it. We're going to ignore it.
Right. We isolated this particular community for those who are ready to make that jump, make
Yes.
that step, make that next leap.
Yes.
And so that's why it is what it is.
Second, if you are in the Facebook group, please no spam, no just copy and pasting the same comment over and over again. This is our first time really getting into using the Facebook group, so we want to keep it as professional as possible. So again, be respectful to everybody. If somebody has a question, and if you know the answer to the question in pertaining to building a business and pertaining to starting a business, answer it. Let's not undermine anybody. We're all here to learn and grow. And what else we got?
Let's get started, man.
Let's get started. All right, cool.
All right, welcome, Build Your Business. Free training.
Free training, yes.
From the free 25-point checklist.
And I hope you guys downloaded the checklist if you got it.
Yeah, please.
It's not, try to download it now, but hopefully you guys downloaded
This is
that.
where you have the whole checklist.
Yes.
Overview. Weekly free training series. 25-point checklist is what we'll be covering. 12 principles, family principles that we will be getting into, that we concocted about family businesses.
Yes.
Because that's going to niche us down. Because when we start talking about coming home, we're talking about we need help.
Yeah.
And we need to put everybody at home to work. Slowly but surely. If you got a candle business and you at work, it's nothing wrong with telling your daughter, your son, do me a favor, put these labels on these candles, nice and neat, while mommy or daddy's at work. And what they don't realize is that they just got hired. And if they do the job correctly, you put a few dollars out there, because you want to start putting everybody involved with the home family business. The Four-Course Quadrant, Malcolm, you want to talk about that?
Yes, the Four-Course Quadrant is, like I mentioned before, podcasting, YouTube, shirt printing, and self-publishing, book writing and self-publishing. And we feel that those 4 quadrants are super important to running a business. Maybe not all at the same time, depending on where you're at, but you're going to see, through these training series, why they're important and why they can help propel your business to, doing a lot of amazing things.
And they're integrated.
Yes, they all work in seamlessly with each other, and you're gonna see why and why that's important.
Right. And with that being said, okay, let's make sure we got the house cleaning in order. That's all that you seeing in the Zoom?
Are people seeing these slides?
Guys, let us know in the put the slide up. Let's see real quick. I want to make sure you guys seeing everything on time.
Yeah. So overall goal is going to be to help beginners start a new business to grow. Help you potentially get started in 30 days. And when we say get started in 30 days, not get rich in 30 days. Get started in 30 days if you just follow the principles.
Yes, and I was adamant about adding this part in because a lot of people, like you said, when we talk about these get rich or 6 figures in 6 months and things like that, we want to show you how to get started. And everything we've laid out here between these 25 principles, the ebook, the free ebook we have, and things like that, you can get up and running at a really, really small level. You can get up and running. So we want to be able to put everything in place for you guys that this is not a problem. And we're going to be here the entire time to kind of help
Walk
you
you through
and
this.
coach you through this entire thing.
Because what you're going to notice is once you start, and you get your little logo, and you know what I'm saying, you get your labels done, and you do this, and you got your name, and it's gonna start. The train is gonna be on the track. You're gonna start feeling great about what you're doing, and then when you present it to people, It looks professional. It looks like you took time with it. So to reiterate, those quadrants are so important. Podcast. You have to be able to talk about what it is that you're selling. And I'm gonna go back to the candles. You start in the candle business, and you thinking, well, how much can I podcast about candles?
Yeah.
Well, there's meditative, there's sensual,
Yeah.
there's yoga, there's candles by the tub, there's candles on your altar. The conversation about candles begin to expand, right? And you begin to have a voice and become an authority on these candles that you sell and are unique to.
And if you guys have been watching our podcast lately, if you watch our podcast, right? We've been interviewing these small business owners who advertise on our show, and what's happening is that a lot of these advertisers, they hit us back afterwards and say, like, you know, they've gotten an increase in sales because being able to get your story out to people you're trying to sell to is super important, because gone are the days where you could just put out a product and people just come to it. That's not really how things happen.
Right.
As an introvert myself, I could not like wrap my head around the thought of talking every day.
Yes.
So even starting our podcast was something like brand new to me. My friends didn't believe me that I would be up to it because they just know how I am. But if you want to be able to sell a product, if you want to be able to create a brand, you have to be able to speak to that somehow. So podcast, a YouTube channel, and that's just a different medium, right?
Right.
People sometimes are visual. Sometimes people just want to listen. They're on their way to car. They're in the car, or they're on their way to work or something like that. But YouTube is visual. You get to do a few more things with YouTube, and
Yes.
the platform itself of YouTube is its own thing.
Absolutely. And it's the second largest search engine in the world. Google being the first one.
And Google owns YouTube.
And Google owns YouTube.
Yes.
So now when people are searching for things, a lot of times I won't go to Google, I'll go to YouTube because I want a visual representation of what it is I'm gonna learn or purchase.
Like, how many times have you ordered something and you went to YouTube to watch an unboxing? Like, we watch people unbox stuff. You get what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes.
So, or you watch a review and things like that. Or if I've purchased weightlifting supplements from people because I saw the story behind it. Like, oh, okay, that's
Absolutely.
they're using vegan ingredients. So,
Absolutely.
oh, okay, like that's how they do it. Got you. And then I'm watching the content that they create around their products. So we're going to talk about that as well.
And when it comes to book writing, I need you to understand this. They have technology now. Let's say you did about 15 podcasts. Do you know they have technology now that transcribes your words into text? Well, all you need to do is edit. Next thing you know, you have an ebook. So I don't want people to get overwhelmed. I'm not here to write a book. Every time you speak in an abundance about something you're passionate about, there's a voice or an outlet with people who can appreciate that. And with technology, listen, this technology can be a toy or a tool. Mm-hmm. We're here to show you how to use it as a tool. And as much as I talk, I got about 9 books worth of stuff that, so imagine you did 15 podcasts just explaining these beautiful candles, why you did these candles, what inspired these candles, why you used the particular colors, because we also get into that when we start talking about how to build your product. And next thing you know, an automated machine type the text that, boom, puts in categories, you put a beautiful cover on it. Now you are an author. Boom, just that fast.
Just that fast, yeah.
And of course the t-shirts, that's when people begin to get behind your product and want to represent your movement. Whatever your movement is, and that's just something that accessorizes the things you sell. So that's why we chose those 4, because they're really integrated closely, or more close than you think they are.
Yes.
And like we said, 4.5 million people quit their jobs. And these people are sitting there going, look, there's got to be a better way. Mm-hmm. It's got to be a better way to make $75,000. It's got to be.
Yeah, and when you're thinking about this, like, say, and you could be thinking right now, you could be watching this at home right now thinking, I actually like my job. I just want to make more, right? What would an extra $1,000 a month do for your home, like for bills?
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
I always tell people that too.
Right.
Stop thinking it's got to be one or the other. these people put you in a predicament. You need to leave your job. Not necessarily. If, like he said, if you love what you do, but imagine an extra $1,000 or $1,500, what that can do for the income for your spirit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
And this is our story in a nutshell. We've been in business for 5 years.
Yes. Going strong.
Going strong. We have nearly 400,000 podcast downloads, as you can see. 10 million YouTube views.
Yeah, we just hit that recently, actually.
And 55,000 subscribers. We have created a 6-figure merch business, a 6-figure membership business, and if YouTube wasn't playing around, just being honest with y'all, it'd be a 6-figure YouTube business.
Like right on the cusp of that,
right,
too,
we're
yeah.
on the cusp of that.
Yeah.
So we do make some bread around here. You know what I'm saying? So we want to make sure, and we got receipts. We want to make sure we're not just talking the talk. We got 3 self-published books, 3 more coming very soon. And we promote other small businesses on our podcast, as you know, to put them in front of an audience. And our audience is just big enough where it's enough people in there. You get good feedback, you get bad feedback. And what we do is we don't just take your money. So when people submit their application, to wifey, she goes through a process, and free of charge, she'll say to you, look, this is not ready.
This website is
I
not
can
ready.
tell your website
this
ain't
commercial
ready.
isn't ready.
Right,
This,
right.
like your product isn't ready. Like we really go through it, and we actually turn down a lot of business. And
Yes.
that's one of the things I feel like that is important to us, because we could easily just take people's money and just have them, advertise on our platform. But we want other businesses to put their best foot forward too.
Right.
And we take what we've learned. As you can see, we have a little list there. We take what we've learned and try, to impart that on other small businesses. Like we saw somebody who they wanted to promote with us, but they didn't even have a website to go to.
Right, right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so how would anybody buy it? Oh, they can DM me on Instagram. No, that's not the way it's
No, that's not the way this goes. It has to be a call to action. It has to be a landing spot. It has to be inviting. It has to say, hurry up and buy. This is what the 25-point checklist is about, so that you cross your T's and you dot your I's. And so you know about our ups and downs. We started a cable show that failed.
Didn't work out. And that's from one of there was a learning experience. One of the biggest learning experiences. It's hard to break people's patterns on how they consume a piece of media.
Yes.
Right? We have 55,000 subs. People are so used to just watching us on on YouTube.
Right.
And asking them to go take an extra step, download this app, to watch us was like damn near impossible.
And it was eye-opening for us on how habitual things are for people.
Yes.
They like what they like, so you have to meet them where they are. Now, a lot of you are saying, well, I'm not big on social media. I get all of that. But this is a tool, not a toy. So what happens is we had to get integrated into the social media world, because the only way to communicate in the future, if you're reading the room, because even if you have a brick and mortar, all of them now have social media outlets, because it expands business and expands the world around you. So that's a very key component. What else did we fail at? We failed at a couple of things. The first, we tried a t-shirt business, shipping it out, drop shipping.
Yeah.
That didn't work.
Yeah, that was bad.
That was bad.
What else?
We've done a number of things where we've lost money, where we had to restart equipment that we purchased that just didn't work. You know what I'm saying? All these kind of things, and it helps you get better and better as we go along. So,
and as a matter of fact, talk about starting ups and downs. The reason why this platform even really got started is because when we first tried to sell your second book, Urban Culture Decoded, we were going about it, thinking about it in a way that wasn't conducive to how the world works now, right? The world is on the internet now, and we were thinking about brick and mortar, hand-to-hand sales, you know what I'm saying? On consignment sales and things like that, to where we had, and I had to convince him that like we got to start a podcast. So you have to like talk this out. You have to like speak about your content and why people should be getting this book. So that was one of like the actual reasons why we even started this show. So as you can see, like this is literally from trial and error, from just learning how to just go about this thing.
And we had an app that didn't work.
That didn't work. That didn't work.
I mean, so the many stories. So I don't want you to get discouraged when things don't work. And I want you to bring. Let's get started so we can really get into this. Mm-hmm. You want to start with the first?
So tonight we're going to go through the first 5 steps on that 25-point checklist. Now, we didn't want to go through the whole 25 in one sitting because things would get skipped over, things that need a lot of attention would not get touched. And because this is our first night, we wanted to give a kind of an overview as to what will be going on during the series. So the first 5 steps to starting a family business: have an idea.
Right?
Okay, it all starts with an idea, right? You can't go anywhere without an idea, right? Have a problem to solve.
Yes.
A lot of people start businesses because they have something like they're really passionate about, and truth be told, there's really no market for it.
And they don't solve a problem.
They don't solve a problem, right? Have a target audience. Another thing people tell me all the time, well, I'm marketing to everybody. That means you're marketing to nobody.
That is a fact.
Right? I have a mission statement. Now, this is to make sure that your goals stay aligned at all times, to make sure that when people ask you what you do, you can automatically spit out in a couple of seconds what your business is about, what you do, and what your product is. And lastly, for this section, for this lesson, is to create a business plan. Very, very important, right? A lot of people, they get stuck at the create a business plan part because this is from experience from people I know. They get stuck at the business plan part because that makes them feel like they're actually doing something.
Yes.
And they actually don't really get off the ground. So while this is important, we don't want to get stuck here, and that's why it is, not at the top of the list, but it's pretty high up.
Yep.
So let's get started.
All right. Have an idea. Brainstorming ideas. Everything has to come from somewhere. And when we speak about ideas, your idea, you think it's original, most of the time it's not. Somebody somewhere has thought of it, but that doesn't mean that they are going to execute it with precision the way you are.
Right.
And ideas, this is where the magic takes place. An idea exists not in the physical, it exists here. And then over a course of a process, we are going to make it manifest into something physical. So that is sorcery in the business world. Yeah. It's how we take an idea and we make it manifest. So you brainstorm on your idea. Once you have your idea, then you want to run with that.
Yeah, and sometimes this is not a couple hour thing. That sometimes it could be a few days.
Oh no,
so
it
you
can
have
take
to sleep
time,
on an idea,
yes.
and you have to refine the idea. You have to keep going back through it and thinking about like where the blind spots could be in that idea as well.
Now, with that idea, before we even go further, what I want you to do is, this is where I invite the haters in. The good haters. There are good haters. And you want to have them try to poke holes in your idea. And once they poke legitimate holes to send you back to think, staring at the ceiling like, yeah, I never thought about that, and that, it gives you an idea to, or an opportunity to refine it. Then when you come back and say, poke a hole in that.
Right.
I do it all the time. Malcolm and my wife are my checks and balances. And then I go, okay, all right, you got me on this one. When I come back, I poke holes into that.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't? Now I have something that's solid that I can work with. It doesn't have to be an original, but who is the best, as we spoke about?
Right, and that's a prime example is, think about how many podcasts there are in the world. Think about how many YouTube channels there are in the world. Think about how many deodorants, you just have to be able to put your unique spin, your unique flavor on that idea and execute it in your unique way. So there's no, like you said, there's no new idea under the sun. It's just you. You're the unique one out of this whole equation. Not the idea, not anything else. You are. So you have to infuse as much of you in that.
Case in point, there's a new pizza shop in Brooklyn black owned, and they serve pizza with shrimp, jerk chicken, lobster. So pizza's been around forever.
Right.
The cars are double and triple parked out there. Celebrities are coming through. Athletes are coming through now. So they took an idea that was already there and said, what? They move 100 pies a day.
Wow.
All right? So they moving 100 pies a day of this unique pizza. Now you got to pay a little extra for the pizza, but that unique spin has given them an opportunity to set themselves apart from everyone else.
And to even charge that much.
And to even charge. Well, you charge based on, write the idea down so you can see it.
Yes, I have a tip for everybody on this one specifically. If you have an idea, write it out in a sentence, in a paragraph, and in a page. Now, at each level, you obviously have to expand on that. But if at some point you can't do that for any stage, you have to go back.
Yes.
That means it's something off about the idea to where you can't concisely explain it, to where you can expand. And if you can't expand on a page on your idea, this is your idea, and you can't write a page on it, and why it's unique, why it'll work, why it won't, what are some of the limitations and things like that, what are the strengths and things like that, then again, you don't, your idea is not
and
really
then how can you convey that to a customer?
Exactly.
So all of them things have to be worked out. You around the house, you work it out. Once you got it down, you are now ready to go. You write it down, you see it, visualization. It's almost like a vision board. You know what I'm saying? You got to lay the blueprints out so you can see this happen.
I actually ran, real quick before we go on, I actually ran into a roadblock on this writing my first book. And well, not the book that I have completed, but the first attempt at it, as a matter of fact. I did 30,000 words. And when somebody asked me what the book was about, I would be all over the place, right? So I tried this method. I did it in a paragraph. All right, cool. I kind of struggled through the paragraph, and I could not get through a page on what this book that I was writing was about. I had to start all over. I had to scrap the entire project.
Have to scrap the project.
Right? So you want to be crystal clear on what your idea is about.
And concise. Share for feedback, as we mentioned. You bring the family in. You bring people you trust in. Not just haters to be hating. You know what I mean? But even then, you take, if what they're saying speaks volumes, you have to take it all. But you want to bring people in who can see these things and poke holes, or just not even necessarily poke holes, who can enhance upon your idea to make that idea work. Now, this is going to be a problem early on.
Yeah. Because
this is your baby.
Yeah.
Right? So you got your baby, and no, I'm not letting my baby go. But over the course, once you get through some of these principles, you'll understand why that's needed. Research the idea.
Oh my gosh. That is something that a lot of people just skip.
Yes.
Altogether.
Because it requires work.
Yeah, you have to research. You have to research competitors. You have to research the entire market. You have to research everything about the idea. If it's something that you have to physically make, how long is it going to take you to make it?
Yes.
What are the other materials? What are the other factors in getting those materials that can be stifled at any point?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because what if something happens like a pandemic where things aren't getting shipped?
We ran into that problem with the T-shirts.
We ran into that.
As soon as the pandemic hit, where we were getting our blank supplies from, it was a shortage. And it was so bad, it was like almost like you was trying to get tickets to a concert.
Yeah.
The minute they had them in stock, you need to have it already in your shopping cart, because by the time you say, let me get 5 dozen of these, gone. So it became this game, and then of course that delayed how fast we can get product out to the people. So you need to think about all of these things. If you're making candles, my theme tonight is gonna be candles.
Clearly.
Right? How much does it cost for me to make this candle?
Yeah.
That has to be built into my price, and we'll get to that. Research the competition, as we spoke about. Everyone has an idea, but I don't like the way they doing theirs. I know I'm gonna do mine this way.
Or they do that very well.
Yeah. And I need to be on top of my game. All right, have a problem to solve. What problem does your idea, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a negative problem. It can be, listen, my candle smells beautiful. It makes you think of beautiful flowery things. That is a problem that it is solving. You know what I mean?
And when we say problem, because people get stuck on this, I used to get stuck on it as well. I'm thinking like life-changing problems,
No.
or world-changing problems. You know what I mean? Like, what does my podcast solve? But when you think about it, when you kind of niche it down, where like, okay, our podcast, there were no real father and son podcasts, right? That discuss a bevy of different topics when it comes to the community, sports, politics. I didn't see any, and people wanted that. They clearly wanted that.
Right. So we filled that void.
We filled that need and we filled that problem.
Yep, problem could be health, social, educational, personal, entertaining. Every time a new app come out with something that's making it easier to move this image over here, Canva solved the problem.
Yes.
If you know what Canva is, it made you not have to be a professional at Photoshop.
Yeah, graphic design.
A graphics designer. It was drag and drop. It solved a problem. Wix, that is a website that is drag and drop. You don't need to know how to use code. They saw a need. So as you're beginning to work out your product, you want to be able to say, this is going to solve a need.
Yes. And real quick, so there are only 3 major areas that a lot of businesses fall in. I want to say like 99% of businesses fall in. 3 areas, right? It's health, wealth, relationships. And there are businesses that are niched way down between those businesses, but those are the main 3: health, wealth, relationships. So when you think about your business, think about where it falls in on that, that scale, those 3 circles. You know what I'm saying? Like, think of a Venn diagram of 3 circles. See where your business is on one of, because sometimes they could be both. They could be 2 of each. It could be health and relationships. It could be wealth and wealth and health and stuff like that. They all have a place, but those are the main 3: health, wealth, relationships. Right? So think about that.
Yep. And how can we help? Now, think about
This is target audience.
is that your target audience?
Yes, it's 3 now.
Oh, it's 3 now.
Yeah.
How did we get there so fast? Oh, okay, target audience. All right. Ooh, okay, target audience. Who is your customer? That's knowing who your customer is. If you're selling candles, ladies who do yoga, fitness, meditate. I be by the bath with my little flowers in there with my little candles, on my altar, something. You know what I'm saying? Or, if you got a masculine candle, this is for fellas, shorty coming over, it's a certain aroma in here that's gonna, find out what your audience is, identify your audience. Narrow that down, right? Because you can't sell to the world.
Yes. So, like we said before, a lot of people they want to start out and sell to everybody, and for obvious reasons. There's more money in selling to everybody. Like you'd like to think your product works for everybody, but it doesn't. There is a certain demographic age range that is specifically for your product. So what you want to do, which is easier because a lot of people say, start with your avatar, create a name for this person, which is great advice. But I think of one person in your life that you would sell to. Just kind of think of one person in your life, like, who would this work for in my life, and target 1 million of them or 1,000 of them.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You don't need, and that's another story for another day. You don't need a million people. You just need 1,000 people that believe in what you're doing.
That is a fact.
Okay, first 1,000 fans. Because think about it. If you get a product that sells for $30, right? And it's one of those things where it has to keep getting reused. You have 1,000 people spend over $100 with you, so that means they bought from you a couple of times. That's $100,000 a year.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Very simple math.
All right, you will have a solution to their problem. So problem, reaction, solution. In the grand scheme of things, when you watch movies, the movie always starts with a problem, and you the hero in the movie, but you don't know you're the hero yet. Somebody comes along, a guide or somebody that helps you, gives you the solution, and then at the end, you win.
Right.
So sales or how you're dealing or constructing this is the same way. Somebody has a problem. I have the solution. This is not about me.
You're the guide.
Right. You're the guide. Don't make what you're selling about you and your ego and this is, no, you're trying to help them. So I see you have a weight problem. You know what I mean? This product right here is gluten-free, this, that. My testimonies will testify that this will help you solve that problem. You give them that, you become the guide. They lose 30 pounds. They big you up on Instagram. The rest is what it is.
Yes.
So you want to have a solution to their problem. And again, how can we help you?
Yes.
That's the whole premise of this. Never make this about you when you start dealing with ideas and a product that you're trying to create.
And that's tough because, like you said, we get attached to our business, to our product. Like
it becomes our baby.
It is our baby, so we take it personal when somebody just doesn't get it, or we take it personal when somebody isn't interested. But it's easy to it's easy to, you'll find it easier to get customers once you kind of just speak to a need rather than what you specifically have. What you have could be dope, but if nobody cares about it or nobody knows about it, or if you're not speaking to what it can help, what problem it can solve, nobody will buy it.
And a perfect example, my first book, Hip Hop Decoded, the cover on it was so abstract. I did that for me. And I did that for a very small community of people, but when I took it to regular people to go, this book is dope, they looked at the cover and was like, I don't know what this is even about. And then when it's on the bookshelf, only a few people who were into metaphysics, occult science, or this and that would resonate with it, and I lost a lot of money. Same thing with the second book. You know what I'm saying? Instead of titling the book as this Urban Culture Decoded, the mental, physical, spiritual analysis, blah, 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 blah. It's too long. So now we're repackaging it. So it's Urban Culture Decoded, a teacher's, mentors, and educators' guide to understanding today's youth. You see how now, and we're gonna put a generic cover where a teacher can pick it up, a mentor, an educator, a reverend, and go, hey, I'm having a problem with the youth. You know what I mean? Maybe this book has some solutions. So that's just some of the mistakes that we've made along the way.
That was why my book cover is just a trophy.
Yes.
It's a trophy with some bricks, and it's very simple.
Yes.
To the point. I didn't want too much happen because I saw what he was doing.
Yes. So that's sometimes you got to get out of your own way, and because I was making it about me, I'm the black dot. No. What about people who just want to, learn something? So, mission statement. Briefly describe what why your business exists. Why this is important, Malcolm. Why is this important?
Well, like we mentioned at the top, it's important because if you can't clearly articulate what your business is about, nobody will. And this also keeps you on track to, for your business's goals and the overall purpose, right? So urban excellence, right? We said when we first started, we were like brainstorming and things like that. We came up with the concept of urban excellence, and we said, okay, if black excellence is the destination, urban excellence is the journey. Very simple. It's to the point. You get where we're going with the actual concept. So that was one of the things that that took a long time.
That took a long time because at first we was just calling ourselves UrbanX. And because, the X can represent so much, when we added excellence, then it became something a little bit more. Now we have a way to go, and then that's when we saw black excellence, and the way they portray black excellence is almost unachievable, or you have to be the elite. But look how much space they left in between there. So we said if black excellence is the destination, then urban excellence is the journey. And that's why we celebrate small victories, small businesses, because before you become that big person, there was always these steps you have to take, and you got to get your community behind you, and you got to make mistakes, and you got to learn. And that's what every Wednesday is going to be about here.
Yes.
We're going to do this together. So what is your overall goal? That needs to be stated. What products or services do you provide? Your mission statement should be very clear and concise on your website. We'll get to that.
Yes, we will get to that because I see a lot of businesses make that mistake because if I can't go on your website or on your YouTube channel or on your Instagram and immediately tell what you do, what you're about, then
I'm lost.
I'm lost.
Right. And
like, I had somebody from my college. He put together this organization, and I remember him pitching it to me. And then I got off the phone. I was like, I have no idea what that was about. And then he pitched it to one of my friends, and I said, like, she's down with the organization. I said, like, what is that? She goes, I don't know what that's about, right? So he did not do a great job at all in clearly defining what his mission statement is, what he does, what he's about. That's why I was just like, I think the idea was something good for the community, but I have no idea what it's about. You know what I mean? I don't even know if the way he's going about it, my beliefs align with it. Like, I don't know.
And this is going to save you a lot of time because what you're going to find out is there may be people or potential investors in what you're doing. And if you can't convey to the investor what your mission is, then you're going to lose a lot of money. And last but not least, important to keep you on and focused on track, right? So if you get off track, you should be able to go to your mission statement as a way to refresh and re-energize you so that because life gets in the way. We start doing this in life. All of it gets in the way, and I want to be able to read my mission statement, #1 Father and Son podcast, what it is that we provide for the community, and think about all of those things and how this is a service that's needed, blah, 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 and go, okay, I was going to quit last week. I'm back. Right? Create a business plan, right? So again, this business plan, we want it to be very detailed and detailed to the point where listen, a lot of times you say you want to make $100,000 or, but I say, well, what's the plan? I don't know. Well, let's go back to my candles. If you want to make $100,000 selling candles, you got to sell 10,000. Let's say the candle was $10. You got to sell 10,000 candles a year. Yeah. Now that might overwhelm you. That's a lot of candles and this and that, but that's what it breaks down to. 833 candles a month, 250 whatever candles a week. And once you start breaking it down, but to the year, the month, the week, you begin to say, all right, that's impossible for now. Yeah. But if my candle was $20, right? Yeah, right now I just reduced that number to half. Yeah. Right? So now it's less than 100 candles a month and 90 candles a week and blah, blah, blah. And that may be the end goal, but you have to see it. You have to see it as plain as day. When you break it down like that, then you know what you're working towards. Then you know when you have your staff meeting with your team, all right, look, we moved 72 candles. We down.
Right. And as you can see on the list as well, you have to think about your marketing and things like that, right? So you said 10,000 candles a month, let's say 5,000 for the year, right? And you're able to market yourself organically on social media, right? You're able to gain some traction on YouTube and things like that. And then you say, oh snap, there's a podcast right there that celebrates small black businesses. They have 55,000 subscribers. They get 200, you do their numbers, they get 200,000 views a month. That's a lot of potential eyeballs that can see my thing. Oh, and they advertise. So you got to think about different areas your customers are going to be. You got to think about ways, opportunities you can see. They can see eyeballs on your product as well. So that's what you have to, this business plan has to be completely detailed to the point where you even know what type of content you're going to post.
Right. And you got to start knowing, like I said, how much it costs to make the candles.
That too.
How much the jars cost, how much the wax costs, how much the stems cost, how much the labels cost, how much the packaging is, how much energy it took you to actually do it. So all of that goes into your pricing. You know what I'm saying? So that's how you lay out a concise business plan. How will you achieve these goals? Write out your roadmap to marketing, financial, and day-to-day operations so you know. So again, I don't want you to be overwhelmed by that, but you need to see it. A lot of times we're pricing things and we're not taking into the accountability, the work. I got to pay my son, or you got to pay your teenage son to put those labels on those 300 bottles while you at work. He has to see, or she has to see the potential in that. And so all of those things.
Real quick, and I don't think that this has to be fixed in stone, because as you'll see, because like business thing is a lot of trial and error, right? So you'll start off with a particular jar and a particular label and things like that, or a method on how you're doing things, and then as you'll get good going, you think, okay, this is a way easier way I could do this. This is a way a better way I can save money on this. So now your business plan kind of changes a little bit because of that factor.
And
you don't want to get fixed in that.
Also, the 100,000 may be the grand plan, but imagine just making an extra 30, selling 30 candles a week. You know what I mean? And how that adds a little extra income, and you can begin to integrate. So your business plan needs to have all of these things laid out. We do business plans. We'll talk about that later. You know what I'm saying? How we can help you lay that stuff out so that you can see it. When you see it, along with that mission statement, you'll be like, I'm a business owner. I got this thing, you know what I'm saying, up and running.
Right.
So those are the 5 that we'll discuss
tonight. So now this is another aspect of actually running your business, right? Another very important aspect of running a business is knowing who you are.
Yes.
You have to know who you are. You have to know, kind of what makes you tick, what kind of worker you are, what drives your motivations. And if you have a team, if you're working with your family, you have to know everybody as well, because as you saw, like our family video, we got into a lot of stuff because we just had miscommunication. Sometimes we saw the same thing, we were looking at the same problem, but had our own solutions to it. So one of the things that helped us a lot in running our own business was a DISC assessment.
And it stands for?
It stands for decisiveness, interactive, stability, and caution.
And what you're going to learn is there are 4 type of people in the world.
Only 4.
Only 4. I know you think there's a whole bunch. Now, there are variations of such, but decisiveness, interactive, stability, and cautious. Those 4 type of people. Now, Fortune 500s, they all give these kind of tests to know who these people are and how to deal with the characteristics of such. Now, I'm a D. When we break this down, because we give an assessment test with certified coaches to give it. I'm a high D. I'm a 99 D.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that means I'm about the decision making. I'm about quick decision making.
Quick decision making.
Right. I'm the pilot. I want you to look at this like an airplane.
Yeah.
This is another great assessment. On an airplane, I would be the pilot. My wife is a high I. So that's your flight attendant. She likes to deal with people. She's interactive. She loves the experience. When you get on an airplane, the flight attendant is the one that makes this a pleasurable experience for you. You need an extra drink, you need a pillow, they're talkative, they're this, that. Your S is your grounds crew. This is the people who get your luggage there. You don't want to show up somewhere and your luggage don't show up. They don't like working with other people. They can. They're very good at their jobs, but they would rather just do their job. They're not into the limelight. And then you have your C. You know what I'm saying?
Air traffic controller.
These are your air traffic controllers. They deal with rules, regulations, and procedures.
Yes.
Also, 4 P's you can look at it. And that is problems, people, pace, and procedure. I'm a high D. My wife is a high I. Malcolm is a high C. Now, what happens is when we're all in unison, it works beautiful. I come up with a crazy idea. My wife, She's the one who's interactive. My wife deals with all the customers. So when you call and your shirt ain't this, or you want advertisement, my wife takes pleasure, and she be on the phone with you. She don't even know you, and you would think she know you for years. That's the pleasure she get. Malcolm is dealing with, how do I do this? This course, Malcolm put this together. All the steps, the rules, regulations, procedures. He does that kind of stuff. Now, each assessment or each letter has its gifts and pros and cons, right? So a high D means I don't pay attention to a lot of I'm the pilot. I just know where I want to go. You know what I'm saying? With a high I, they're juggling so much at times.
Everything could be a priority.
Right, everything is a priority. They don't get nothing done.
Yeah, right.
And how many times we gotta say, tell her to get that done?
Yeah.
You know, when wifey and Malcolm is very cautious at times. We went to go buy a car.
Yeah.
He went to buy a brand new car. Now we sat in the car, we looked at the car, this, that. I immediately said, buy the car. And he was like, what do you mean? I said, buy the car, it's nice. I wasn't worried about payments. I wasn't worried about insurance. He was worried about all the small details. Where's the warranty? This and that. I got to call my wife, because he's a high C. He's dealing with procedure. He's very cautious. I'm very out of control. I actually want to show you, before we get to that, this can help you in your business and personal life. So if you got a business team, you need to know how to interact and deal with the people. Because if you got 2 Ds on your team, pause.
That's gonna they're gonna
bump heads. So you need to know.
So an example of that is when we first started the customer service and things like that. I was doing it,
and it was bad.
I can't,
Malcolm don't have time for that.
He
don't
got the
deal with no
patience,
customers.
Like, come on, man, and that's just that's not where my strength is. That's not my superpower. And my dad, he kept trying to get me to be more, out there. Like, you need to do this, you need to have and that's just not my style. And that was working against me. So once you know kind of where you are and where you're at, you get a better sense on, like, okay, this is where I thrive at.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And so I stopped trying to push him in areas that he didn't have the strength. You know what I mean?
And these are not locked either.
Right. The assessment in itself, when you take the test, because it is a test, it's 5 minutes. It's good for 8 months to 12 months. So as you begin to work on areas that you need to work on, it can and should change.
It will.
Right? So my whole thing is, I'll tell the crew, don't tell me it can't be done. Tell me you can't do it. Because we get into big blow-ups, because I have these lofty ideas as a pilot. I can see the end result, but Malcolm is going, dude, in order to get there, we got to do this, and that. And my wife would be like, yeah, and I'm already juggling 5 and 6 things, and then we'll get into, a whole big beef. And I'm like, well, then don't tell me it can't be done, because when you tell me it can't be done, that means it's impossible. Tell me you can't do it, I'll turn the table over, we'll have a fight. So that just goes to show you, but it also works in your personal relationship between you and your husband or you and your wife. You may find that y'all butting heads, but not because y'all don't love each other.
Yeah, just communicating with each other a little wrong. Just like, she likes to be talked to this way, or like, you're very matter of fact in how you talk. I can be very matter of fact in how I talk.
Yes.
Because I'm just trying to get the job done. Let's just do it. And I don't have time for, and my lady, she is very emotional. And if I'm just matter of fact, and I say something just off the cuff and it can be curt, that's beef.
That's beef. And it ain't really no beef.
Exactly.
Right. So let me show you my assessment. As you can see, I'm a 99D. If you look over, to the right side chart, and that means, and there's a word association that comes with it as well. So the top 3 words are driving, forceful, and daring. That's me. I'm driving, I'm forceful, I'm daring.
And demanding.
And very demanding, right? I'm also a high I. I scored an 81 there. So I do deal with people, and I love people. When it comes to being with pace, I'm a decent pace person, but don't expect me to bust my chops to get something done. But if you look all the way over to the C, right where it says caution, I scored a 14. That means I look at the bottom of the word chart here, and it says I am careless, rebellious, and independent. And that is me. So I don't care a lot about details. Now, looking at my chart, I got to work on that. I got to be more. So I would never be the one to put this online program together. That would have to be Malcolm. When it's time for the podcast, guys, I show up when the cameras say go. I don't study. You see, I don't research none of the stories. That's why I get them all wrong. I don't have time for those details. I need to have time for those details. So I'm laying this out to let you know this is an interactive piece to find out where you are. Now, the 25-point checklist, that's the external things that you need to do on your checklist. This assessment is the internal.
It's 22-page breakdown on you.
22 pages
22-page breakdown.
Long. And it goes through who you like to work with, how you like to be talked to, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, what is your this, because you may come to find out you're high C. So when it comes to starting a business, you're a little cautious. So you may sabotage yourself just on being too cautious. Or you might be a high D, oh, just get it done. You know how much money I waste? Because I don't get into the small details, and then my team got to come through and clean it up. Now, don't get me wrong. Sometimes I'm spot on with something, but a lot of times, had I just took time with the details of it, or just dealing with pace, understanding these things need to be done in a timely manner. So there's only 4 type of people, and this word chart, all of this comes with your package. This word chart will show you where you are, and now I can build from there. And if you have a team, how you might be able to be stern with one person, and you have to treat that other person different because they're a high S, or how they choose to deal with. So this is going to help you in your personal life. I start noticing how people are based on
immediately. Yeah.
I mean, he's a high D.
Yeah.
When you go to your office, who's the person always organizing the Christmas thing? That's a high D. Who's the person that sticks to themselves? They don't really talk. They're good at their job.
Yeah.
That's a high
Their head is just
S.
buried in the computer.
Who's the person who's the life of the party? That's the high I. And who's the person who knows all the rules and regulations of the job? You can't do this according to the handbook. That was my mother. My mother knew her handbook, bro. This and that. Those are high C's. You start learning. I think, go ahead.
And then you see how things play out when two specific letters kind of get together for work, right?
Right,
So like you said, you are high D, T is high I, right? He has all of these ideas.
Yes.
And then T thinks all of the ideas are equal level of importance.
Right.
And then, at me, I'm still trying to kind of work out like, no, all right, we need structure. We need somewhere, and then nothing gets done. So one of the things actually this year that we all promised each other, we would get things done one at a time, but we would do it fast.
Right.
One thing at a time, but we move quickly on it. So that challenges everybody to kind of compromise in some way.
I think basketball teams should use this.
Oh, facts, because
you need to know who the captain of the team is.
Right.
He gonna be in the locker room giving the speeches. You need to know who's not about statistics. That might be your high S. They just about getting the job done. You need to know who's gonna speak to the media. Your high I person is the person always in the press conference gonna speak, and then you need to know who's gonna speak to the referees. That's the high C.
Yeah.
Oh no, according to the rules. So if coaches began to, because these are Fortune 500 companies.
Yes, all the time.
Use this all the time,
All the time.
so they can match the right type of people that they're looking for.
This disc assessment has been around since 1928.
Yes.
Okay, it's it was created by William Marston, and he had a real fascination with human psychology and human behavior as well. Also, he actually created the Wonder Woman character.
Which is bizarre, right?
Yeah, that's just a real random fact. But yeah, this thing has been around because businesses and companies and entrepreneurs and marriages and things like that, people with their kids, they just want to know how to better communicate and how to better work.
Yes. All right, so here goes some of the testimonies. This course is very well done and informative. The audio was on point and the presentation flows at a nice pace. Excellent job, Sean Brown. Innovative media. I went through the course of t-shirt printing and Mama Dot did a great job on concisely breaking the components down without adding a lot of fluff. I'm sure that many people will find this aspect of your complete course very useful. I learned some useful tips and tricks. Danielle Mapp said, I loved the course. So many gems were dropped. I was able to learn so many simple yet effective ways to run a podcast. Big up to the fam. And reference starting your YouTube course. I watched all of the tutorials in your series and excellent information. Very descriptive guidance, clearly heard and relevant to the subject matter. Now, I want to get into something real quick. I'm going to keep the screen blank. We're going to be here every week for free, no matter what. And you can come get the free stuff all you want. However, at any point you're ready to take that next step, like, you know what, I got this, and you need a personal hand to help you with all of this, we are going to be here for that as well.
And again, we've mentioned this on the show, but everybody wants to talk about how to scale and how to do anything, do all these things. A lot of people just want to know where to start, right?
Absolutely.
And a lot of people, they get a lot of this jargon from people online and things like that, or they meet a lot of slick talkers that talk real fast. We want to just show you how to start, because that is half the battle right there.
Yes. And then we'll deal with consistency later on in some of the weeks on how to, make sure some of the hacks that we put in there.
Asks if they can just purchase the t-shirt module.
Yes, you can. That's on the site as well. So you can purchase a coaching session and just the t-shirt module as well. That's on the site.
Yeah, that's on the site. You put the regular site information in there as well?
Yeah, I'll do that right now.
Right, so if you go to the regular site, now remember, you can purchase the whole piece. Your man might be into book writing. Your son might be into this.
And this is lifetime access. So
yes,
if you buy the courses, if you buy the courses right now, if you buy the courses from the site, you get lifetime access. So if we update the site, if we update the course, which we will, you'll always have that as well. You can always go back to it. It's not like a membership, monthly subscription. You always have access to it.
Right. So, like I said, when you think about the quadrant, sometimes you can get somebody else to go in half with you, and they do this portion and you do that portion. And so, those are some of the hacks.
Not yet.
Not yet.
We don't accept crypto yet.
Not yet, but hopefully in the future we will.
Yeah.
I'm afraid my crypto will be there, then it'll be gone.
Then the other one, they're a Reiki master therapist. Any ideas on how they should market on social media, Instagram in particular?
Again, if that sounds like something you want to do personally, then get that $97 plan, because we can't, if we start answering people individual questions here on their business, it'll get out of control. Now, with that being said, keep the next 5 principles may answer your question for you.
And
so next week may answer those questions.
And generally, I'll give you a general answer if you want to, if you wanted a general answer how to market on Instagram. Right now, Instagram is pushing Reels, like the algorithm is pushing Reels out more. So find a way to use your whatever your content you kind of make. Find a way to make short 1 minute bite-sized pieces of content.
Right.
And do that every day.
Every day, and every time you work with a new customer, right? Take a minute and break down a different principle of what it is that you're doing on that customer. Remember, people's attention span is very short these days.
Yes.
So them 1 minute reels, they add up. Mm-hmm. Oh, wow, I never really thought about that. And then you'll stay on people's mind when it's time for Reiki. And then when you have a Reiki business, you're talking regional, unless you're trying to become a Reiki instructor in which you can teach people globally. But if you're trying to bring customers to you, you got to start penning this down to your region and stuff like that. So that's a general answer. But if we brainstorm together for 40 minutes, we'll have a 30-page breakout of stuff you should do on a regular basis to get that stuff popping.
So, guys, with that being said, if there's now not any more questions, we will see you guys next week.
We will see you next Wednesday for our academy. We'll probably see a lot of you guys tomorrow
Yeah.
for the podcast.
Later.
Later.